Firefighters are making progress, but the fight continues for hundreds of thousands of evacuees hoping to go home, and for those who now know their homes are gone because of the Southern California wildfires.
Unfortunately, we're getting pretty good at our responses to these large-scale wildfires. If you look at what occurred here with the Tubbs and Dunn's fire of 2017.
Firefighters who battled the North Bay wildfires are now putting that experience to use, helping save homes in Southern California. I'm meteorologist Sandia Patel. Gusty winds setting up for the weekend, both locally and in Southern California. Hour-by-hour forecast coming up.
I noticed, the things in the kitchen started shaking, like the cabinets and the glasses.
In the middle of all of the news coming out of L.A., earthquakes rattle San Francisco.
From ABC7, live breaking news.
What a year this week has been. Wildfires, one after another, devastate Southern California, taking lives and obliterating communities.
The devastation that I've seen so far is just absolutely, like you said, unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Good evening to you. I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thank you for tuning in. Today, the death toll from those Southern California wildfires rose to 11 lives lost. And right now, we're monitoring a flare-up by the Palisades fire burning near Malibu. This started about 5:30. Here's a live picture. The crew on Air 7 from our sister station in Los Angeles says they saw firefighters running away as the flames took over 2 helipods. That's the place where helicopters can safely land, take off, and refuel. Some fire vehicles may have been overrun by the flames. So far, those flames have scorched more than 21,000 acres at the Palisades fire. Containment is at 8% today. That's an improvement from 0% last night. 5,000 to 6,000 structures, many of them homes, have been destroyed or damaged. This fire has killed at least 5 people.
Said he'll be fine. I'll be here when you guys come back. He was in his bed when I found him.
I was just in hell. That's what it felt like. I was just surrounded by flames. I lost everything you can imagine possible, and it's just devastating.
LA's fire chief says the city failed her department, saying that nearby reservoir was drained for repairs without notice to her department. They didn't know about this. She says it's become one of the most destructive fires in the history of Los Angeles. It is surely that. And the deadliest fire currently raging across Southern California is the so-called Eaton fire, impacting the San Gabriel Valley. As of this afternoon, 6 people have died and 4 firefighters have been injured. The fire has burned nearly 14,000 acres and is 3% contained. That's it. More than 7,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed.
Our schools, churches, restaurants, parks, water reservoirs, and many cherished historic buildings have been lost, some of which can never be replaced. We want you to know that you are not alone.
All of Altadena is still an evacuation zone, and no one is allowed back in at this time.
The newest fire today is the Archer fire. That's in Granada Hills. It's triggered evacuation orders when it started around 11 a.m. Quick work by firefighters stopped forward progress at just 19 acres. All evacuation orders and warnings were lifted. This map you're seeing here from CAL FIRE shows you the active fires burning right now in Southern California. We mentioned the big ones to you already. Now, all evacuations have been lifted for the Hearst fire near Sylmar. All evacuations have been lifted for the 1,000-acre Kenneth fire near West Hills. The Lydia fire is 75% contained.
Now, the weather, specifically the wind, has been an issue all week long.
It certainly has. ABC7 News meteorologist Sandia Patel is tracking it for us. And have the conditions changed at all, Sandia?
Yeah, they have actually, Amma and Dan. And the reason for that is the winds have eased up, the offshore winds. High pressure and low pressure have separated, and that has helped the firefighters gain ground on some of those fires. Here's a live view from one of the largest fires burning in Southern California. Obviously, fires create their own weather conditions, and that could be part of the problem why there are some still localized effects. Here's a look at those fires. Palisades fire, over 21,000 acres. We are seeing containment increasing. Kenneth fire, 50% right now. Hearst fire, 70% contained. The Eaton fire is one of the larger fires as well. The winds have really started to ease. They switched direction, coming more onshore, which obviously helps to bring a little bit more humidity. Malibu, 28 miles an hour right now. Unfortunately, those winds are not going to remain low. They're going to increase again. So a fire weather watch goes up for Southern California tomorrow evening into Sunday evening. Strong, gusty Santa Ana winds and low humidity expected again. So here's a look at the hourly forecast. You'll notice it's a little breezy at times, Sandberg, but the winds do pick up. It's a drying wind over 30 miles an hour tomorrow morning, picking up even stronger winds as we head towards Sunday, 40 to higher gusts expected. Here locally, we're going to see those downsloping winds as well. So a wind advisory has been issued for all areas shaded there from midnight Saturday until 10 a.m. Sunday, gusts to 50 miles an hour. There is a possibility of power outages and downed trees. Those gusty winds, though, as you look here hour by hour, will be picking up not just in the hills, but initially in the hills. Over 35 miles an hour Saturday morning in Fairfield. You will notice as winds start to translate down to the surface in the afternoon. As we head into Sunday, 36 miles an hour Half Moon Bay, 37 in Fairfield. And of course, fire concerns are coming up. I'll be back with a look at that in just a few minutes. Dan, Amma.
All right, Sandia, thank you so much. We'll check back. And more local firefighters are heading south to help out. California Task Force 3, an urban search and rescue team with members from the Peninsula and South Bay, has been asked to send 74 people. Now, 2 are coming from the Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety. Other members will come from Task Force 4, which is made up of East Bay firefighters. They are expected to leave tonight for Pasadena to help on the Eaton fire. ABC7 News reporter Cornell Bernard checked in with some North Bay firefighters today.
You know, the devastation's really the thing that is shocking everybody. The amount of homes that have burned and the way the fire came down and impacted these communities, it's heartbreaking.
Marin County Fire Battalion Chief Grant Groneman telling us what he's seeing across the Southland, a trail of wildfire destruction.
There's still active fire burning on the incidents up in the hills. Firefighters are just, currently working to extinguish hot spots around structures to ensure that, the loss is limited to what already occurred.
Chief Groneman is one of 50 Marin firefighters on the ground lending support in the firefight alongside dozens of other Bay Area crews. His team is also doing surveys from the air over the Eaton fire zone in Altadena.
We also want to make sure that every stone is turned over if someone's missing a loved one, and that we can identify what occurred and identify anybody that's missing.
CAL FIRE's Lake Napa unit posting on X, its crews helped save a home from the Eaton fire at 3 a.m. on Friday after working a 24-hour shift.
Yeah, we're at the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl here in Pasadena is being used as the base camp for the Eaton fire.
Santa Rosa Fire Marshal Paul Lowenthal is part of a team of 70 firefighters from Sonoma County now on the front lines.
Unfortunately, we're getting pretty good at our responses to these large-scale wildfires across California. You look at what occurred here or in our own county with the Tubbs and Dunn's fire of 2017.
Southern California firefighters provided mutual aid to Sonoma County back then, and now Lowenthal's team is returning the favor. This image showing a Santa Rosa engine crew working alongside Los Angeles City Fire.
Those 3 engines together is a prime example of how firefighters may not know one another. They may operate differently within their own jurisdictions, but when it comes to an incident like this, they work seamlessly together.
Situations like this really highlight the true mission of mutual aid. Local firefighters say they don't know how long they will be in Southern California. It could be weeks. In the meantime, fire stations like this one here in Novato remain fully staffed. In Marin County, Cornell Bernard, ABC7 News.
Face a greater risk of wildfires. You ready for this? Than 99% of counties in the United States. Take a look at this map that I want to show you. It's from wildfirerisk.org, created by the U.S. Forest Service to help people understand the risk where they live. All that red, look at that, represents highest risk. So what about climate change? How does that factor into all of this? 2024 is now officially the hottest year on record. A threshold experts say could lead to more severe climate disasters. ABC7 News South Bay reporter Dustin Dorsey looks at the effects of climate change on California.
Apocalyptic views in Southern California has everyone looking for answers as fires continue to burn.
This is like
Mars, the moon, Armageddon, climate change. I mean, something's going on here. It's absolutely, utterly insane.
Fires are complex, but most experts agree one contributing factor stands above the rest: climate change.
It does seem like the hotter Earth is generating more and more extreme weather for everybody. When we issue a particularly dangerous situation, that's usually a 5 to 10 year event, and yet here we've issued 3 of them in the past 3 months.
2024 was the hottest year on record. For the first time ever, the global temperature rose by more than 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit compared to the pre-industrial average. And the heating planet causes a phenomenon that San Jose State climate scientist Eugene Cordero says is known as hydroclimate whiplash.
Where you go from dry to wet, back to dry, is something that's challenging to forecast. But certainly something California has been experienced before. We have these super dry years, and then next thing you know, we're having these floods.
That's because warm air works like a giant sponge. When it releases water, it can soak our state, like with the historic atmospheric rivers from past winters. But when that water gets soaked back up, CSU East Bay Assistant Professor Tony Marks-Block says there may not be significant rainfall for months, like we've seen in Southern California.
It becomes really prime conditions for these extreme fire events, and the Santa Ana winds, or the phone winds, accelerated the spread of fire.
Marks-Block says extreme conditions like these are possible throughout the state, including here in the Bay Area.
We know that these are not once in 100-year events anymore, that these are events that are still, not happening everywhere all the time, but the risk of these events is becoming higher.
As the weather becomes more unpredictable, Cordero says we may need to adjust where and how we live to prevent further destruction. Dustin Dorsey, ABC7 News.
And our parent company, the Walt Disney Company, has pledged $15 million to help wildfire relief, both the current firefight and the recovery efforts across Southern California. The company said it would help support organizations offering essential services on the ground. To help people affected by the California wildfires, you can donate. Just go to redcross.org/ABC to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover.
Now tonight, David Muir anchors a special edition of 2020 with continuing coverage of the deadly California fires. American Catastrophe, LA Burning. A special edition of 2020 starts at 9 right here on ABC7.
Those fires have many of us here in the Bay Area thinking about disaster preparedness, and that was emphasized this morning as a minor earthquake shook the Bay Area. The quake was centered about 3 miles off the coast of San Francisco's Ocean Beach, not far from the zoo. It hit just 5 minutes after 7 a.m. The USGS puts the magnitude at 3.6. No reports of injuries or damage. Several aftershocks did follow, 3 in total, all in the magnitude 2 range. The quakes were all too small to trigger an alert on the MyShake app, and also too small for a tsunami warning.
One of the first actions by San Francisco's new mayor is to name a new fire chief. Next, see how others in the fire department are reacting.
And still to come at 6:30, the underground secrets of San Francisco. What lies beneath those circles on the pavement that could one day save the city.
Breaking news, new information about a flare-up at the Palisades fire. This is the big fire near Malibu. The flare-up is on the north edge of the fire. Our sister station in Los Angeles reports that there's no threat to homes on that side in the San Fernando Valley. That's because firefighters have already laid down a thick line of retardant to try to contain it there. The fire has not reached that line yet, so it is burning actively, but should not threaten new homes. At least that is the hope. We'll keep tabs on it. Meantime, back up here, a new era is now underway for the San Francisco Fire Department. A new chief just named by new San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie.
And ABC7 News politics reporter Monica Madden was at that announcement today. Monica.
Well, this really brings up a lot of concerns about public safety. So leaders pointed out that San Francisco firefighters are currently helping with efforts to contain the infernos in the Los Angeles area. And the new fire chief also emphasized that the minor earthquakes we experienced this morning in the Bay Area are another stark reminder of the seriousness of his new job.
There's a new fire chief in town. Another change in the Lurie administration as the new mayor aims to make good on his promise of making San Francisco safer.
This is a role that carries immense responsibility and requires a unique combination of vision, leadership, and a profound connection to the people of this great city.
Battalion Chief Dean Crispin brings more than 3 decades of experience with the fire department. He responded to the 9/11 attacks in New York and has led the response to dozens of incidents in San Francisco.
He has been recognized 3 times for bravery and service to San Franciscans, for rescuing the elderly from fires in the Tenderloin.
Not only will he direct response for battling blazes and other emergencies, but the department also employs paramedics, often at the forefront of the city's opioid epidemic.
And I'm going to have your backs.
Crispin expressed gratitude to the mayor at a Friday press conference.
It is the honor of my life to receive this appointment. Public safety is at the center of your agenda. Our department stands firmly with you.
His promotion met with a standing ovation, filled with hugs and well wishes from his fellow firefighters.
They came from their homes, most of them off duty, and they were here to show the chief that the chief has support and respect within the rank and file.
It's unclear what's next for Interim Chief Sandy Tong, the city's first Asian American chief, who former Mayor London Breed only appointed in September.
Chief Tong has not announced what is going to be next, but I do know that Chief Tong is supporting this process and is also enthusiastic.
And San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott was also at the press conference today. No word yet, though, on if Mayor Lurie plans to keep Scott or replace him with a pick of his own. Dan, Amma?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Thanks, Monica.
Okay, let's switch gears. Let's get right to our weather.
Yeah, we're continuing to watch what's going on the fire lines. Of course, meteorologist Sandy Patel is here. Sandy?
Yeah, and Dan and Amma, one of the big things with the wildfires down south is the air quality. So let's take a look at the wildfire smoke from the last visible satellite imagery available, and you can see that they're still dealing with a lot of smoky conditions. My sister-in-law actually has family down there, and while they're okay, she said it's pretty thick smoke there. Air quality alert remains in effect until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Here's a look at the current air quality. Most areas are in the good to moderate range, but there are places near Acton poor for sensitive groups. This is going to continue to fluctuate as those fires burn. Fortunately, our conditions are mainly good here locally as we check out our high temperatures for today. The National Weather Service did have a typo earlier. If you were with us during the 5 o'clock show, I had reported Santa Rosa at 74. They made a correction. It was actually 64 degrees there. There was a record in San Jose at 74 degrees today, breaking the previous record. Mid-60s, San Francisco, Richmond, Concord. Oakland got up to 67 degrees. It was a cooler day today compared to yesterday, down by 16 degrees in Santa Rosa, cooler by 7 in San Francisco. One of the main reasons is those offshore winds really backed off. High pressure and low pressure that were a little too close together, bringing those really extreme winds to Southern California earlier in the week. They've separated a bit, so the winds have eased. And guess what's returned on Live Doppler 7? We've got some fog out there along the coastline. Right now, those winds over the higher terrain, Oakland Hills, 22 miles an hour. That's all going to change this weekend. Winds go up. Fire danger will increase as well, particularly in the hills going into the yellow and orange, which is high to very high category. Not just tomorrow, but also into Sunday morning. Tomorrow morning from 5 o'clock until noon, watch out if you are going to be out and about walking. Coastal flood advisory due to the high tide, 8:34 in the morning, 6.8 feet, so there will be some minor flooding. Mount Tamcam showing you a foggy view here, 54 in San Francisco, 57 in Oakland. San Jose, you're at 62, and Half Moon Bay, 54 degrees. We're seeing the gray skies, higher humidity in San Francisco from our Exploratorium camera. Everyone in the 50s from Santa Rosa to Napa, Fairfield, 57 Concord and Livermore. One other live picture from Emeryville. It's a quiet picture there. This weekend, that all changes. Gusty offshore winds develop, above average temperatures with sunshine and mild weather continuing. And the next week, that dry pattern goes on. So we go hour by hour, a little bit of fog, 7:15 tonight. Temperatures will be in the 40s and 50s at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, we start out with clearer skies because those offshore winds will develop, blowing the fog out of the picture. Tomorrow afternoon, sunny, and you will see primarily 60s for your high temperatures. The winds are going to pick up. Here's a look out of the northeast Saturday morning, over 30 miles an hour. This goes on into the afternoon. Winds getting stronger at the coastline as well, over 30 miles an hour Sunday morning, close to 40 around Fairfield. And those gusty winds will bring that fire concern as we head into the weekend. Your morning temperatures 30s and 40s. It is going to be a breezy one to start the day, turning windy later on in the day. Your high temperatures mostly 60s under sunny skies. Here's a look at the AccuWeather 7-day forecast, and you will notice that we have those windy conditions for your Saturday and your Sunday. Winds do back off Sunday afternoon, but they pick up again Sunday night going into Monday. Temperatures will slowly start to slide over next week and drop back closer to average for this time of year. So, Amma and Dan, we are going to be in for a dicey situation this weekend with the winds.
Okay. All right. You'll keep us on top of it. Thanks, Sandia.
All right. Wildfires, earthquakes, fresh reminders in California that we should always be prepared. And now is the time. We'll be back. Let's start with a recap of the breaking news we're tracking right now. A flare-up by the Palisades fire near Malibu that's triggered new evacuation warning. The fire is spreading on the northeast edge. That's in the Santa Monica Mountains, south of Tarzana and north of Brentwood, to orient you. Our sister station in Los Angeles reports that there is a thick line of fire retardant already laid down, which should protect those homes. Everyone's hoping that will hold. The Palisades fire is the biggest fire burning in Southern California, more than 21,000 acres to this point.
And that flare-up is just the latest issue for Southern California. Half a dozen wildfires have burned 35,000 acres in total. 11 people are confirmed dead, and authorities expect that death toll to climb. The Palisades fire near Malibu is up to 8% containment. The Eaton fire near Pasadena and Altadena stands at 3%.
I completely did not believe it would be like this. Our communities and everything's gone. And me and my friends are calling these past 2 days the worst day on earth for us. I mean, this is the worst possible thing imaginable, worst case scenario. If we can stay a community through finding people in person, embracing them, and just staying a community, because we have nothing left.
The 1,000-acre Kenneth fire near West Hills is now 50% contained. Authorities are investigating that as a possible arson case.
Now, we want to show you these before and after satellite images of the L.A. neighborhoods that burned. Just horrifying. It's too early to get a true tally of the damage that has been done, but today the damage estimate tripled to as much as $150 billion, if you can believe it. President Biden has declared the fires a major disaster and said the U.S. government would reimburse 100% of the recovery for the next 6 months. In a briefing from the White House this morning, he spoke to the scale of this disaster.
The scope, the scale, and the erratic movements of these fires is truly unprecedented. I mean, it's truly unprecedented.
The major disaster declaration, Mr. President, was a game changer. In fact, you were able to do that within 36 hours. I don't know that there's another precedent in American history for disaster that was in the making, was unfolding, and for you to be there in real time and prescient as well. And it turns out that we're going to need all of that support.
Of course, we're staying on top of all of the developments coming out of the wildfires in Los Angeles County. Get updates as they happen on ABC7news.com and the ABC7 Bay Area app as well.
The wildfires in Southern California, combined with today's earthquake off the San Francisco coast, has people wondering, how prepared is the city?
Yeah, now's a good time to ask that question. ABC7 News Building a Better Bay Area reporter Leanne Melendez is here with a look at San Francisco's, Leanne, unique emergency water system.
Yeah, well, you look at these pictures, and the first thing I asked someone was, how safe are we?
Yeah, right.
Sure. I mean, do we have to worry here? So we took a look at San Francisco's very complex emergency water system and discovered things that most of you didn't realize exist.
Sure, San Francisco neighborhoods have plenty of fire hydrants, but as we learned in Southern California, hydrants can run dry. It happened to us during the 1906 earthquake. It's been a constant reminder.
We've had the experience of the city going up in flames and trying to develop a system that'll keep that from happening again.
In the last several years, San Francisco has added underground cisterns for a citywide total of 222. Many holding up to 75,000 gallons of water, the largest located near City Hall with a capacity of more than 240,000 gallons of water.
You could easily find them. There's a round circle of bricks, usually in main intersections.
A few years ago, ABC7 was invited to go underground to check out the construction of one of the new cisterns. The older ones have also been repaired and reinforced. The important thing to know here is that they are completely unconnected from the rest of the water system, meaning if the regular fire hydrants run dry, firefighters have another source. Here's former Fire Chief Joanne Hayes White in 2014 talking about the significance of these cisterns.
Some people say, well, you don't really use it on a regular basis, but I can tell you when the big one hits, these will be invaluable.
You know what else San Francisco has? 3 reservoirs that feed high-power emergency hydrants. These are not your typical hydrants. They are completely independent and gravity-fed. Perfect for San Francisco.
Former Assistant Deputy Chief Tony Rivera.
They have more robust mains that are made out of ductile iron and steel. They're not relying on another source of water. This is like a system designed specifically for firefighting, and it's used by our firefighters, our apparatus. We have special equipment on board to access the water. It's something you won't see in any other city.
Each reservoir covers several neighborhoods. For example, the Twin Peaks Reservoir feeds all of those big high-pressure hydrants with a black top. The Ashbury tank feeds the ones with the red tops. And the Jones Street tank delivers water to all of the blue top hydrants. Except that the high-pressure system does not extend to some neighborhoods like the Bayview and Richmond and Sunset districts. In a civil grand jury report, it was recommended that the city expand the supply with a target completion date of no later than 2034. Still, it was in those neighborhoods where most of the cisterns were added. Because redundancy is our middle name, San Francisco can also rely on fireboats to pump seawater into the high-pressure network. That's what was used in the marina during the 1989 earthquake to stop the fires from spreading. Rivera describes our water emergency system as unique.
When I was in my position, I had firefighters come from all over the world to ask me to look at it, to go to our pump stations. They had never seen anything like that.
So we started shortly after 1906, and thanks to several bond measures passed by voters, we are able to have the system that we have. Now, meanwhile, there's a big push by residents of those neighborhoods that lack that high-pressure system to finally get it done.
That's really
I feel a sense of relief,
Yeah,
right? And I've been here 30 years, and I didn't know about the fire hydrants, the black ones, the red ones, and the blue ones.
I've
How
noticed them, but I
fascinating.
had no idea what it was.
Exactly. You learn something every day.
Cool. Thank you, Leanne.
Well, the Southern California wildfires could have a huge impact on Oakland. Why Oakland? It has to do with California's FAIR plan for homeowners insurance. We'll have the story.